Welcome back, this is Professor Xiaoma. In this video, I will demonstrate and explain a specific hands-on problem. Now keep in mind that in demonstrating the hands-on problem, I will use an example dataset, which is default 1. When you do the homework, the dataset is different, so make sure that you adapt the code to work with the homework. In the video, I assume that whatever Python package that we will be using, you have already installed them. If you realize that you haven't installed a specific package and you need to install it in the middle of the video, simply pause the video and go ahead and install it. Install the Python package by following the tutorials that I uploaded. Now let's get started. To make histogram plot, you need some plotting tools here. And for this exercise, I will demonstrate how to use matplotlib.pyplot and use the hist tool inside the matplotlib. If you haven't installed this package, make sure that you install it before you start this tutorial. As you can see here, I'm using the same dataset, default 1. For this demo of histogram, I will use the column of paid_5 that has been Z-standardized. So it's the saved results of the other video tutorial. In making plots in Jupyter Notebook, it's a good idea to keep everything that is used for making a plot in one cell. So the cell can look quite big as compared to other code cells, but this is the most effective way in making plots. Another thing I want to mention is the magic commands in Python or IPython, and one of them is related to that here. Make sure you include and run this code before you start making the plots. You need several things to make a plot and properly label the plot. The first thing you will need is a figure object. Now there are several ways to do that, but the most effective way that you can keep using is to create subplots at the same time that you make a figure. Subplots are used when you need to plot several smaller plots and put them in one figure to show several pieces of visualization at the same time. Sometimes you need to only make one plot, but also you can use the same method in which you only configure one plot. There's one plot in the row and one plot in the column, so it's a one-by-one layout of the subplots, which means there's only one subplot. Now the next thing you need is to make the plot itself. Here is only one subplot. I'm using the matplotlib hist function to make the plot, and it will automatically be placed inside the one subplot placeholder that has been created. And in the hist command, you only need to define several critical pieces, including what the data is. Here I'm indicating to use the Z-standardized values of paid_5 column. And in the plot command, also include the relevant arguments that are relevant to the current plot type. Here I'm making histogram. Obviously the number of beans is going to affect how the plot will look like. Here R width is to decide whether or not I want to leave any gaps, and the parameter here should be between 0 and 1, and the larger there is, the smaller the gap. So I'm leaving a little bit of a gap between the bars. I still want the bars to take up the most spaces, but leave some gap between the bars in order to see the different bars. Now last but not least, I need to add in the title, the labels on X and Y. I'm using also the plotly command. Let's run this. You can see that even though I requested 30 beans and there are actually 30 beans here, you can barely see 26 of the beans. You can only see 4 beans clearly. This is mostly because that this variable is highly skewed. The tail is very thin, and because of the height of the longest bar here, most of the beans in the tails are invisible, but this is fine. You have successfully created a histogram. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.